Hi everyone, this is Selina. Welcome back to one of my videos. I hope you're well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Selina and I release a crochet tutorial every week. And this week I'm bringing to you this stunning bandana. So I absolutely adore this new project. It's really beginner friendly and it's absolutely stunning. It features granny squares and a chain arc edging. So this is a really easy tutorial, and yes, I'm going to take you step by step through this. So I used Lion Brand yarns for this, Coboo yarn, and it's a really gorgeous yarn. I have used this yarn before for my little bags. I crocheted little mini envelope bags a few months ago. I will be linking it here, and I will be linking the video down below in the description box too. And it's a really stunning yarn to work with. I adore it, and it is 50% cotton, 50% rayon from bamboo, and it is considered a light 3 yarn. And I have to admit, I really love this yarn. It's so soft and beautiful, and it's really easy to crochet with. And so this is shade pale pink and shade silver. And so I absolutely loved associating these two shades for this granny square bandana. So it's really easy to make. I also used a 4.5mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. So yes, I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. I will be using US terms with British terms in brackets. And yes, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, because that really helps me and it helps out my channel. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and without further ado, I'm just gonna jump into the tutorial. Okay, so to begin this tutorial, I'm just going to show you what it looks like before we start. So I will be showing you how to make 6 granny squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'll show you how to make 2 triangle granny squares that we will be placing one here and one here. So obviously I still have one to crochet. That's the one we will be making together. So I'm going to walk you through this process. So you will be needing 6 granny squares and 2 triangle squares, and I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial. So to begin the granny square, we are going to be making a slip knot. So just go ahead and make your slip knot, pop your hook through and tighten. And now we will be chaining 4. So just go ahead and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we are going to be slip stitching through the first chain. Just go ahead and pop your hook through that. So now that we've chained 4, we are going to be slip stitching through the first chain. So just go ahead and pop your hook through that first chain, pull your yarn through that loop and then through the other loop. And this creates a center into which we will be crocheting. So now you are going to be chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and this counts as your first double crochet. And we are going to be placing 2 double crochets within this center. So just I'm just going to show you how to make your double crochet. So wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the center, pull up your loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Take your yarn and go through 2 loops, and take your yarn and go through 2 loops. And as you can see, I am weaving in my loose end as I go along. We are now going to be placing another double crochet into this center, and this has created our first cluster of 3 double crochets. So now we are going to be chaining 2, 1 and 2, and you are going to be going back into that center with 3 double crochets. So just go ahead and place 3 double crochets into this center. There we go. And this is our second cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 1 and 2. Go back into the center and place 3 double crochets into that. 1, 2 and 3. And this is another cluster. And now chain 2, 1 and 2, and we are going to be placing 3 more double crochets into that center. So 1, 2 and 3. There we go. And this counts as our 4th cluster of 3 double crochets, and now we are going to finish off this first round by chaining 2, 1 and 2 and going into that chain 3 at the beginning and slip stitching through that. So just go ahead and slip stitch through that, and this is what our first round looks like. So I am just going to tighten, now that I finished the first round, tighten your center. So just gently pull on that until the center closes. And because we have tidied up our loose end as we go along, just snip it off gently like so. And yeah, so I prefer not to have loose ends as I go along, if I can help it. So now for round 2, we are going to be changing colours, so snip off your yarn like this. And now to close off this section, just pull your yarn through this loop and tighten, and this creates a knot. So now just take your pink yarn like this, and I'm just going to turn my project around like this for now and fasten on my loose end. So I just fasten on my loose end where I already have another loose end, because it is easier just to, for this part, just to tidy them up as we go along. So there we go. We now have our pink yarn that is tied to our project, and we are going to pop our hook through, take your yarn, and now chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and just make sure that you pull it over your knots. Now we are going to be tidying up our loose ends as we go along, and what you are going to be doing now is placing 2 double crochets in this section. So 1 and 2, and the first chain 3 of course counts as a double crochet. And now we've got our first cluster of 3 double crochets, and because this is a corner, we are going to be chaining 2, 1 and 2 and placing another cluster of 3 double crochets into that same space. So 1 and 2 and 3, and this is the beginning of round 2 and a corner. So a cluster of 3, chain 2, a cluster of 3. Okay, so now we are going to be going directly into the next space here. So skip those 3 double crochets from the previous row and go directly into this next space with 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and again, oops, this yarn is absolutely beautiful, but it can be a bit tricky to work, so sorry about that. So that's my third double crochet, and because this is again a corner, chain 2, 1 and 2, and place another 3 double crochets inside this space. 2 and 3, there we go. Now we are going to be going directly into the next space and placing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets inside that space. 3. So as you can see, this is an easy crochet project to make. And now just go directly into the next space and place 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. There we go. And this is what the second row looks like. And now we are just going to be going directly into the chain 3 from the beginning and slip stitching into that third stitch here, like that, to close off this round. And again, because we are switching colors once again, just snip off your yarn. I do tend to leave a longish tail for sewing in, just because I think it's easier to sew in a longer tail, but that's just personal. So that's row 2 completed. Okay, so now that I've completed row 2, I am going to show you row 3. I am going to turn my project around like this. You can, if you wish, snip off your loose ends right now. So I consider that these loose ends are quite well tidied up. So I'm just going to snip them off. There we go. I think it's neater just to have a project that has as few loose ends as possible. Anyway, so I've turned my project, and I am simply going to be tying my my yarn to this project here, like so. So just go ahead. You can either do 1 knot or 2 knots. That's entirely up to you. So there we go. And again, so this isn't a corner. So now this is the next round is going to be the first round in this granny square, where there will be corners and what I call normal stitches. So we've tied our yarn to what I call a normal space, so it's not a corner. So just pop your hook through and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We are going to be tidying up the loose ends as we go also. So this counts as your first double crochet, and inside that stitch just place 2 more double crochet, so 2 and 3, and there you go. Now just simply go into the next stitch. So that's not a corner, so there's just one simple cluster of 3 double crochets in that stitch. So go directly into this space, and this is a corner space, so place 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and place 3 more double crochets inside that space, and 3. Now go directly into the next space and place 3 double crochets into that. So 1, 2 and 3. now and that's a normal, quote unquote normal space. So yeah, we are going to be having more and more of these as we go along. Now just go directly into the next space, which is a corner. So place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3, because this is a corner, 2 and 3. Now we are going to be going directly into the next space, which is a normal space with just 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. And now go directly into the next space and place 3 double crochets. It's a corner, so it will be 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, so chain 2 and 3 double crochets. There we go. And you see, this is what this pattern looks like for now. And now go directly into the next space and place 3 double crochets into that, 2 and 3, and go directly into the next space here and place 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 2 and 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. And this is what we have. So we've now finished almost this third round. And to finish off this round, we are simply going to go directly through that first chain 3 and slip stitch to close off this round. And this is what it looks like. So now we are going to be changing colors once again. So just snip off your yarn, the grey yarn, and pull through this stitch here and close it off. Okay, so this is the third row finished. We do have our loose ends here, but I'm going to leave them here for now, and then after I finish my square I will be tidying them up a bit better because I don't think they're secured enough like that, but that's completely optional. But that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to leave them like this for now, and this is what we have. So I've turned my work, and what I'm going to be doing is attaching, as always, the pink yarn. I always tend to attach my yarn at the same place that I've tied off my other yarn, just because I think it just gives a cleaner look if yeah, anyway. There we go. So I've tied my pink yarn, and so now what we are going to be doing is chaining 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and this is our first double crochet, and this is a quote unquote normal stitch. As you can see, it's not a corner, so just go ahead and place 2 more double crochets inside this like that, and obviously the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So this is our first cluster of 3 for this project. Now we are going to be going into the next space here, which is also a normal space, where you are going to be placing 3 double crochets into that. And now go into the next space, which is a corner. So because this is a corner, of course, you will be placing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So just go ahead and do that. So 2 and 3, chain 2, and place 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. This is what it looks like for now. Now go into the next space, and this is a quote-unquote normal space. So just place 3 double crochets inside this space. Then go into the next space with 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. And now go directly into the next space, which is a corner with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Chain 2 because this is a corner, and place 3 more double crochets into that. 2. Oops, sorry about that, but I prefer to go back on the stitch if I'm not satisfied with exactly how it looks. So there we go, 3 double crochets. And so I'm just going to let you carry this round on. So just carry on until you reach the end of this round, and then I'll get back to you to show you how to finish off this square. So don't forget, a cluster of 3 double crochets in this, a cluster of 3 double crochets in this, then a corner which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then a normal stitch, 3 double crochets, and then a normal stitch, and a corner. And once you reach this corner, I'll get back to you to show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so I finished this this round, and this is the final round of this project. So just go ahead and slip stitch to the chain 3 from the beginning, and of course fasten off. There we go. And this is our square for now. And if you keep on going, if you kept on going, it would grow and grow, obviously. But for now, we are simply going to stop here. We've got 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all we need for this square. And you will be making 5 more, and so that would be 6 squares in total. So I'm just going to let you make those squares, and then I will get back to you to show you the rest of the project. And also, don't forget to tidy up your loose ends as you go along. Okay, so now that I've showed you how to make your squares, I am going to show you how to make your triangle granny square. So we need 2, so you should make 2 of these. So to begin your triangle granny square, you need to make a slip knot. So go ahead and make a slip knot, pop your hook through, and now chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is what it looks like, and slip stitch through that first chain to form a ring, and this is the ring into which you are going to be working. I'm just going to zoom in. There we go, so I've zoomed in. So now we are going to be chaining 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this chain 4 counts as our first double crochet and chain 1. So now that you've done that, you are going to be working inside that center, and you are going to be placing 3 double crochets. So just go ahead and place 3 double crochets inside that center. Okay, so now that we've done this 3 double crochets, we are finishing off this row with chain 1 and go back into that center with a double crochet. And there we go. And this is what it looks like. And of course you will be pulling this to tighten it, the center at the end. But for now, just snip off your yarn and fasten off. Okay, so for row 2, we are going to fasten on this yarn. I've turned my work already. So again, I am fastening on my yarn in the same place that I fastened off. So there you go, this is what we have for now. And just pop your hook through, pull up your yarn and chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this counts as your first double crochet and chain 1. Okay, and now that you've done that, you will be placing 3 double crochets inside this space, and as you can see, we are fastening on in our loose ends as we go. So just go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. And this is what it looks like. Now chain 1 and go directly into the next space, which is this one here, the corner, and place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, okay, 2 and 3. Chain 1 and place the last double crochet in this space, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and now we are going to be fastening off like so. I mean creating a knot. And this is what we have for now. As you can see, we have lots of loose ends, so I'm just going to go off camera and tidy these up. For this loose end, just pull this as tight as you can and then snip it off like this. And then, yeah, I'll just let you tidy these up and then I'll get back to you to show you the rest. Okay, so now we are going to be turning this around and tying on our yarn. So I know in this project it's a lot of tidying up loose ends and fastening on yarn, and it's a bit tedious, but the effect will be worth it. So now that you've attached your yarn for row 3, you are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And just rearrange as you want this part. So now that you've chained 4, just go into that same space, and this obviously counts as a double crochet and chain 1. Just go back into this space and place 3 double crochets. As you can see, I'm tidying up my loose ends as I go. Chain 1 and go back inside that space here and place a 3. So go into that center space, and this isn't a corner, so we are simply going to be placing 3 double crochets in this space. And this is the same principle as what I've showed you for the basic granny square, is that the bigger this project gets, the more of these simple cluster of 3 stitches we will have. So now chain 3 and go into the next space, which is also a corner, and go into that space with a cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 1 and double crochet to finish off this row, and this is what we have. So I'm just gonna fasten this off like this, pull my yarn through like this, and this is row 3. So for row 4, we are simply going to be attaching, turn your work directly and attach your yarn at the corner here. So just pull your yarn through like this and attach your yarn like this. Okay, so I've attached my yarn. I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so now that I've chained 4, and this obviously counts as a double crochet and chain 1, go back in with a cluster of 3 double crochet. So just go back in. Okay, so there we go. I've made my 3 double crochets, chain 1, and we are going to be going into this next space, which is a normal space, with 3 double crochets, chain 1, go into the next space with 3 quote-unquote normal double crochets, 2 and 3, chain 1, and go into the last stitch, which is also a corner, so we will be placing 3 double crochets into this, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and one last double crochet into that, because this is the corner. So this is what we have for this row. Just fasten off like this and pull your yarn through, and this is row 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for the 5th and last row, we are going to fasten on our yarn once again. Turn your work. And of course, because this is a corner, you will be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And this counts as your first double crochet and chain 1. And you should go back into that space with 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1 and go into the next space with 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and then the last stitch, which of course is a corner, and place 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and place your last double crochet into this stitch. And this is the last, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so the 5th row and also the last row. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and so you should have 2 of those, and once you've done this, I am going to show you how to assemble your bandana. Okay, so this is how I've placed my squares and my triangles. So again, I'm just going to invite you to go to my blog, selinaveronique.com, because that's where you will find precise pictures and so on if you need those to help you place your project. So I've just placed 3 squares like this, and then 2 squares here, one square in a corner, and I've placed our 2 triangles here. So what I am going to be doing now is sewing these squares together. So to do this, I've got my tapestry needle and I've placed some pink yarn. I'm going to be doing it with a pink yarn, and I'm just gonna start. So you can start at any square. Just tie on your yarn, and now just sew the squares together as best you can, just using the mattress stitch. So I'm just gonna, for example, do this part like this and just go ahead. So the mattress stitch is just going into one side like this and then into the other side, so it gives a more seamless stitch, which I think is really good for this type of project. I am going to zoom in. So there we go, I've zoomed in, and I can't really move my project round obviously, but this is what it looks like. So just stitch these squares together, and you are going to be doing each side of each square that needs to be stitched, so that's pretty obvious. So just go ahead and stitch this side, and then those sides, that side, every single side that needs to be stitched together, including the triangles. So as you can see, I'm just going in and out, gently stitching this project together. And so just go ahead and do this, and I'll meet you back once you've stitched all the squares together to show you how to finish off this project. Okay, so this is what we have now, and so I'm really pleased with how this looks. And for the finishing touches, we are going to be taking the pink yarn. So you can take whichever colour you want for this part. However, I fancy my border and edgings to be pink, so I'm going to use the pink yarn. And I'm going to attach the pink yarn here at the top corner like this. And there we go. I am going to be turning my work, and what we are going to be doing is placing a single crochet all along the entire edge of this project. So all this way down the V and up the V and up to here, you will be placing a row of single crochets. So chain 1 to begin with, and then go into the next stitch. So I'm just gonna go into the next stitch and place a single crochet into that. So I'm just going to zoom in. I am going to be tying my loose ends in as we go. So there we go, go into the next stitch and place a single crochet into that, and into the next stitch and place a single crochet into that, and the next stitch and into the next stitch like so. And just carry this on as best you can. Obviously sometimes the stitches are a bit difficult to see, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be an absolutely perfect edge. It can be a bit, yeah. Yes, so just go all the way around this project with single crochets, and I'll meet you back to show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so I'm just jumping back on to show you the corners. So I've gone round this edge, so all around this edge, and I've reached my first corner, and this will be the same in every corner. So there are 1, 2, 3 corners because it's a triangle. So in each corner you will need 3 single crochets in each corner like I've just done. So once you reach the corner, directly place 3 single crochets inside that corner before you carry on placing your single crochets all the way around. So I'm just going to let you carry this on, and I'll meet you back to show you how to finish off this round. So I'm back, and this is what we have. I'm going to be placing my last 3 single crochets in this third and last corner like this, and I'm gonna slip stitch to the first chain that we did to finish off this round. I'm just gonna de-zoom to show you, oops. So there we go, I've de-zoomed to show you what this looks like for now. And what we are going to be doing for round 2 is once again chaining 1. So we've chained 1, and we are going to be going across this top, so the top of the triangle, with a single crochet. So just place a single crochet across the top of this triangle, and once you reach this corner I will show you what to do then, because the stitch will be different across this side and this side. So the V here will have a different stitch than across. So just place a second row of single crochets across the top here, and then I'll show you what to do for this part. Okay, so I've done my small row across here of single crochets, and now we are going to be creating a chain arc edging across the V of this bandana. So to do this, you are going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and this goes with this first stitch here. You are going to skip the second stitch here, and you are going to go into the third stitch with a single crochet, like so. Now you are going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip the next stitch and go into the next with a single crochet once again. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip a stitch and go into the next. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip a stitch and go into the next, and just carry on doing this all the way across both sides of the V. So skip a stitch and go into the next until you reach the other side of the V. So I'm just going to de-zoom for a second. There we go. So just go all the way across here, down here, and then up here until where we started our row with this chain arc edging. And when we reach the beginning, I will show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so I'm back and I've completed my my round. As you can see, so I've slip stitched through the first chain at the beginning of this round, and what I'm going to do now is fasten off. So I decided to fasten off because now we have to create our 2 straps, so the 2 straps on each corner of. Okay, so now that we've fastened off, we are going to be creating the 2 ties at each corner of this bandana. So the reason why I fastened off here was because this, where we finished off, isn't exactly a corner anymore. So I'd rather fasten this off and attach my yarn at the corner exactly. I hope this makes sense, just because I think it will look nicer. So I've gone ahead and fastened on this this yarn. I'm going to pop at the corner. So, and we are going to be creating this tie. So to create this tie, you are going to be chaining 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now that we've chained 35, I'm just going to zoom in. We are going to be slip stitching all along this strap to create this tie. So you are going to skip that first chain here and go into the second chain from the hook and slip stitch. So just go ahead and slip stitch. So this first slip stitch might be a bit complicated to do because it's always hard at the beginning, I find. Anyway, then go into the second chain here, well, the next chain, so just go into the next chain and slip stitch, and into the next chain, and just go through every chain across, and I'll show you how to finish off this strap. So just go through every chain and I'll show you how to finish this off. Okay, so I've slip stitched through every single chain, and what I am going to do now is attach this, secure this yarn into, so I'm just going to slip stitch into a stitch on the bandana, if that makes sense, just to secure this strap, like so. And now just fasten off and pull through this stitch. And here we have our first strap, and now we are going to be doing our second strap on the other side the exact same way, and I'll meet you back to show you the rest. So I've just decided to hop back on camera and add one more row to this project because I think it looks a bit too curvy here. So what I'm going to do is add a row of single crochets up to here, and then here we're going to have a specific pattern to kind of make this less curvy, like a dip here. So yes, I've placed a stitch marker on the 10th stitch from this center, so I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I will also be doing the same on this side, but we are going to be starting on this side. So what we are going to be doing is creating this new row just to even out this project. Again, this is optional, you don't have to do this. So to do this, we are going to zoom in, chain 1, and this does count as a single crochet. And now we are going to be placing a single crochet all along this row until we reach that stitch marker. So just go ahead and do that. So just place a single crochet, and when you reach the stitch marker, I'll show you the pattern. Okay, so I reached the stitch marker. I've just taken it out, and I am going to be placing a single crochet in the place of this stitch marker. Now that we've done that, we are going to be placing a half double crochet. So I'm just going to show you how to create a half double crochet because we've not seen this yet in this tutorial. So in the next stitch, place a half double crochet, wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, take your yarn and pull through 3 loops. Yarn over and go into the next stitch with a half double crochet, and go into the next stitch with a half double crochet, and into the next stitch with a half double crochet also. Now we are going to be placing a double crochet into the next stitch, so place a double crochet and another double crochet into the next stitch. So we've already placed 2 double crochets, and we are going to be going into the next stitch with a double crochet also, and into the next stitch with a double crochet, and into the next stitch with a double crochet. So that's 5 double crochets in total, and as you can see, it kind of makes this part look a bit more yeah, less curvy. Like, I hope this makes sense. So now we are going to be working on the other side of this project. So we are going to replicate the exact same design. So place a double crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch, and you should have 5 double crochets. So that's the 3rd, and then the 4th, and then the 5th. So that's our 5 double crochets. So now that we've done our 5 double crochets we are going to be going into the next stitch with a half double crochet, and into the next stitch with a half, oops, sorry, this yarn is not easy sometimes. So go into the next stitch with a half double crochet, into the next stitch with a half double crochet, and into the next stitch with a half double crochet. And this is what our pattern looks like for now, so it's really nice. And now we are simply going to be placing single crochets all the way along until we reach the end of this row, and then once you reach the end of this row, simply fasten off and tidy up all your loose ends. So I just really wanted to jump onto the tutorial just to add this bit, because I thought it would make this project even nicer, just to have a nice leveled kind of design, because obviously we've been joining all the squares and triangles, and it can create a slight a slight shape that, well, I wasn't entirely happy with that shape, so I just thought this would make it look nicer. So I hope you enjoyed this extra detail. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching. Obviously, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.